The parable of the prodigal son, as it is called, is captivating because there are so many ways you can look at the story. There's the father, there's the older brother and the younger brother, or the older son and the younger son. And whichever way you look at it, you can glean a different aspect of the story. Because the story is called the prodigal son, our focus goes directly to the younger son who willfully decides that he wanted to leave his home and go off and enjoy life on his own. He gave up his father, his brother, his community. And at the time, doing such a thing was disrespectful and was frowned upon. But the father doesn't challenge the son. So as to why he wanted to leave, he just did as the son requested. That of giving him his inheritance and allowing him to go wherever he wished. The son is allowed to make the choice and to go on his way. Sounds familiar? How often our children cannot wait to be on their own, to leave their familiar homes so as to get away from their parents. And we may probably have done the same when we were children. We couldn't wait to go away and to live on our own, often thinking that life will be easy without having parents bugging us all the time. And we thought that life would be a breeze. And the younger son probably felt the same way, but it doesn't work out so well for him. It didn't work out the way he expected it would happen. He spends all that was given to him, forgetting that he doesn't have his parents, his father's security any longer. The buck and all the bucks were at him. And it was a rude awakening for him, because having spent all he was given, he comes to his lowest ebb in life. He had reached rock bottom, longing to even just to eat the food that were given to swine. The older brother is upset and angry about what his brother had done and how the father had treated him, welcoming him back with open arms upon his return, as if the younger son, the younger brother, had done nothing wrong. And the older son was having none of this. He wasn't into let's kiss and make up. He was upset, and he was making it known whether others like it or not. And one way he did that was by not attending his brother's party. You can sense the disdain he was feeling, referring to his younger brother as this son of yours. And you will see later on that the father had to remind him that this brother is also yours. This brother of yours. It is almost like saying, when he said to the father, this son of yours, is almost he's saying, he's your son, not my brother. And the elder son was behaving in a human way. But he was missing what God expected him to have for his brother. God expected him to have a God's heart. It is likely that the younger brother was the old man's favorite, and the older brother, the older son, had spent his life trying to earn his father's affection and attention. He may have been living in his brother's shadow, thinking of himself and hoping for his father's affirmation of him as a son he loves. But the father is saying to his elder son that he's still invited to the party. It's not too late. It's never too late, my friends, to make amends with God, with the Father. But the son was only focused on trying to earn the father's attention and affection. All these years I have been slaving for you. I've been working for you. He wanted to make his father proud of him. And then there is the father on whom the story is primarily focused. We often miss that, but the story is primarily focused on the Father. And this seems to be the case based on the way Jesus begins the story. There was a man who had 2 sons. Jesus starts the story with, there was a man. The story was about the man who had these boys and not the other way around. The focus is on the Father right from the start. And although the bulk of the story is about the younger son's journey, yet still it is always in relation to the Father. And that's because the Father in the story is God himself. The Father is the one who makes it possible for the Son to leave by giving him what should have been given to him after his father was gone. The Father exemplifies what a true and loving father is like, and his children are the recipients of such a father's love. And not only does he receive the Son with open arms, he reassures the older son that you are always with me, and what I have is also yours. So there's no need to be jealous. There's no need to be bitter about your younger brother. What you should be doing is celebrating his return. He was dead and is alive. He was once lost and now is found. And that is the reason to rejoice. That is the reason to celebrate. You know, oftentimes we tend to view this story as one of good versus bad. The older son we often see as the good son who stays at home and remains faithful toward the father, while the young son is the bad son who leaves home with the expectation of never returning and got involved in a kind of lifestyle that brings embarrassment to the family. But this is how we also view others. We view sometimes our own children that way. We have our favorites, and who is the good child versus who's the bad child. We view our family members, our friends, our colleagues, as who are the good ones whom we like, and the bad ones whom we do not like. We see them in terms of who is good and who is bad. And the difficulty of such a scenario is that this whole idea of good and bad doesn't transform lives for the better. They oftentimes make matters worse. What does change lives and make matters better is that 4-letter word called love. Love can and does change lives. And that's what the Father exhibited to both children, to both sons. This is how our Father in heaven functions. He loves us unconditionally even when we go astray. We too need to do the same by truly seeing God in others and as God sees them, bearing his image and likeness. Instead of ignoring others or judging them, why not start noticing them and wondering, how do you feel when others take time to notice you? We need to show compassion toward others as the father in the story showed toward his younger son. This is what Christ did. He showed compassion and not only showed it, but demonstrated it in action by showing mercy. We need to build relationships by listening to the stories of others, for we have our different stories to share, and no one's story is better than another. We have all come out of varying environments from which we were reared. And so we need to show others love, not our kind of love, but the God kind of love. How much different the world would be and look if people extended love and care and kindness to others. How much different the world would be if we apologize to those whom we have hurt or offended, as the younger son did to his father. How different the world would be if persons extended forgiveness to others who have wronged or hurt them, like the father did to the younger son. What a better world it would be. Amen.